What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Dr. Heeljoy, coming back at you again. Today, we're loaded on into Halo Infinite. I've got some gameplay for you, and I've got my top 10 tips to rank up fast and to get to those top level Diamond and Onyx ranks. We're going to jump straight on into it. Before we start this nice little gameplay, Slayer Aquarius I got for you, we're jumping into our first tip. My first tip for Halo Infinite Ranked would be to never, ever solo queue. You are making the game way more difficult on yourself if you are playing alone. You don't have team comms. It's a lot harder to have solid teamwork, and that is 99% of what makes a good team, a consistent winning team in Halo Infinite. Now, with that said, this gameplay is going to be me loading in solo. That's something I've done to myself on purpose, trying to challenge myself a little bit. Currently back and forth between Diamond 5 and Diamond 6, trying to get to Onyx completely solo. With that said, let's start this gameplay up for you, Slayer Aquarius. And we're going to hop on into our second tip here as we get started with this gameplay. And going along with that first tip, if you do decide to solo queue, you have to stick with your teammates. You have, whether you're in game chat talking with them or just you got to have even higher map awareness, you have to be sticking with your teammates. Got a free first blood there. He was AFK off rip, took advantage of it. Nice little confidence boost. We're already up 3-1, and I find a nice little double kill. We're starting the game off hot. Anyways, moving on into our third tip. So basically off rip, you never want to solo queue. If you do, teamwork is everything for you. Next, tip number 3. This is a general Halo tip. It applies to ranked. It applies to just regular pubs, Slayer. Aim is so important in Halo. Aim is everything. The better your aim is, the better player you're going to be in. It sounds kind of obvious, but that is something that you can always work on, always get better at. You always want to make sure your centering is on point, you're hitting all those shots, getting the job done. Moving on next. You want to use your map knowledge, especially early on in this game. Use your map knowledge to your advantage to make sure you're locking down all those power weapons and abilities. On a map like Aquarius, you do have that camo that pops up middle. Everyone on the map is obviously going to know about that. You have that countdown timer. Got a little overconfident there. A little heat check. Started the game off 7-0. Had to challenge. But yeah, that camo spawning up 22 seconds left until it's up. Everyone knows it's going to be up. But there is other things that you can go on the map if you have that knowledge. Like on where I'm at right now, left side of the map, you've got the dynamo grenades. Those are so strong, so powerful. You want to prioritize those as a team. Also on the right, you have the Heat Wave. It's basically a shotgun. That gun is insane. It melts up close, which is a lot of the engagements you're going to find yourself in on this map. So make sure you're prioritizing power weapons like the camo on this map or like rockets on other maps. And the power weapons that aren't necessarily going to point themselves out. You see here, I'm playing around my team. That's the easiest double kill of my life. Next up, we have... Where am I at? Oh, here we are. Along with that same thing, you want to use equipment to take your gameplay to the next level. This is one thing I definitely need to work on myself. This is where I could really go from that Diamond 5, Diamond 6 to a strong, consistent Onyx player. Using equipment in this game is really what elevates you to that next level, that next tier of player. The grapple is so versatile in this game, not just movement-wise. You can grab any object in the game and bring it to you. An oddball, you can get the ball to you. Capture the flag, you can pull a flag to you just with the grapple. Also, what's it called? The repulsor. You can use that with movement so much other than just like knocking an enemy away or defending yourself for half a second. The repulsor jumps to go from like down there on the bottom middle of the map. You can jump all the way up to my current position just with a repulsor. Make sure you're using all of those equipments to the maximum of their abilities. Moving on. Next up, you want to perfect your movement. This I would put right along with aim as the two most important things in Halo, the whole series, you could even say. You want to make sure you have perfect movement, understand every little detail, every little extra piece of advanced movement you could do, such as the curb slide. If anyone doesn't know the curb slide, basically, it's as you're hitting the ground. If you're going from an elevated platform down lower, as you hit the ground, you want to be sprinting off the platform. As you hit the ground, hit the slide, and you get a super slide. Takes you really far, really fast. Little things like that. You want to make sure you're perfecting those advanced movement mechanics. If you guys want to learn more about that, I could make an independent video about that. There is others out there that I've seen. That's how I learned it. Nice little camo play there. Get a free pick. We're up 29-16. Feeling pretty good about ourselves right about now. Along with that, move on the line of move, on the topic of movement, that's what I'm trying to say, is in ranked, you have the battle rifle as your default weapon. If you hit 2 bursts and then a melee, that's all it takes for a kill. You only need the 2 bursts. So with your movement, you want to make sure you're aware of where you are compared to the enemy. With the melee in this game too, you lunge pretty far for the most part. There's some times where it doesn't really work out for you, but you can lunge pretty far with that melee. So you want to make sure you're keeping that in mind. If you're at a disadvantage in a gunfight, just hit your 2 bursts, trade yourself out. It's always nice to get your own trade. Next up, you want to make sure you're comfortable with your settings. This is going to help with movement a lot. Make sure you know all your buttons. You have them mapped comfortably. You don't want to be playing uncomfortable. I just remapped some of my buttons, which is going to lead to our final tip, a game-breaking mechanic, I might even say. We'll get to that in a little bit, though. You want to make sure they're mapped perfectly so that you're comfortable, so that your movement is on point, and that your aim is on point. Get your sensitivity down, your dead zones down. Make sure you're completely comfortable. You don't want to go out and copy someone else's settings just because it works for them. You want to make sure it works for you specifically. Choke the overkill. That one's on me. I was pretty upset about that one. We're getting close to victory, so we got to start speeding through these. Next up, you want to make sure you're not spamming your grenades. You spawn with 2 every life. Make sure you're using them smart. They're very powerful in Halo, so you want to make sure you're using them to your advantage, making sure you get some free gunfight victories with them. Like you see there, my lunge wasn't quite what I wanted it to be on that first guy, but I still got the job done thanks to my teammate. I was kind of a bait and switch situation there. Next up, this is such a huge one, and it's already helped me tremendously. You want to watch pros play and take pieces from their game and learn. Not even necessarily pros if you don't want to watch pro gameplay. Just watch players that you know are a little bit more advanced or a little bit better than you. Watch what they do well and implement it into your own game so that you can improve. That's an easy tip right there. You watch this gameplay. I think I do a lot of things correctly in this game, but there's also things I could improve on. Next up, last but not least, the most game-breaking mechanic. Go back and rewatch this gameplay and you'll see me use it a couple times when I feel I'm at a disadvantage in a gunfight, is to crouch spam. And if you don't know what that means, is basically, I have my controller here. My crouch is the B button. I'm pressing this non-stop in some of these gunfights. It makes it so much harder for the enemy to hit you because you're just constantly moving. And it is kind of cheesy. I'll be the first to say it. I don't even necessarily like doing it that much just because of how cheesy it is. But it does make it incredibly helpful to win some of those tough gunfights. We dropped 23 on their heads in this Aquarius Slayer. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully these tips helped you out. Hope you get your rank up. Let me know down in the comments below. That's going to do it for today. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.